What is going on, guys? Back to some more videos, and in today's video we have a comparison of Iain Valliere 2020 Tampa Pro versus the 2021 Tampa Pro. Now, he's gone on record saying that Tampa Pro 2020 was his absolute worst physique ever. Now we're gonna compare it. I could compare it to the Olympia. I could sorry, I just ate a meal, man. I'm burping everywhere. Goddamn. I could compare his 2021 Tampa Pro win to his 7th place at the Olympia. And I very well might do that. If you guys want to see that video, you can obviously request whatever comparison you want down below, and I'll take into consideration what people am I drunk? What people want and what people want to see and what comparisons people want or whatever else. So down below you can leave. But this is Iain's, side relax. One of his better poses, not a mandatory pose, but it looks great. I mean, obviously you can see everything. His glute, hamstring, quad tie-in. I mean, man, like that thing is just edged out really nicely in both pictures. I mean, for the most part, conditioning-wise downstairs, when it comes to this particular pose, it looks very similar. Upper body-wise, his shoulders are bigger in 2021. You can see that. Chest a bit broader, a bit more thicker. His chest is a very apparent weak point, and he's working on that, as you can see. Moving on to the first pose, going to be the front lat spread. Now, he actually looks a bit more conditioned in 2021. You can see a bit more striations in the chest there, but he is noticeably bigger in 2021. I try to scale these pictures properly. I can see the scaling on this one is a little bit off. He looks a little bigger in 2021 versus 2020. But, for the most part, like, you can understand what I'm looking at. You can see what I'm looking at. You can see the detail. You can see, the muscularity. Chest in 2020 looks a bit more detailed than 2021, but that could be the difference of lighting. That could be the difference in just him flexing at his current portion in time of taking the photo. When I look at the mass, when I look at the structure, his arms are bigger in 2021, shoulders a bit bigger in 2021. His lats are more filled out in 2021. His quads are comparable when it comes to size. He looks a bit more detailed quad-wise in 2020, but obviously it could be a difference of just how the photo and when the photo was taken. But I feel like both poses are pretty comparable to each other. His lats are pretty filled out when it comes to that gap in between the arms and the body. His lats are filling that void out quite nicely. So both pictures are, very nice. And if I were to put one above the other, I like his 2021 because of the additional mass. You can see the upper body when it comes to the shoulders, the chest, bit thicker, and that's what I'm looking at. That's what I appreciate more in this pose. Moving on, side chest, this is one of his better poses. He actually kind of changed the way he posed this when it comes to 2020 versus 2021. You can see the leg position now. So he doesn't have that gap in between both his legs that you can see. He's now kind of closed off a little bit when it comes to the legs. Before he did this, I assumed to stretch the glutes more, so you can see more striations in the glutes. As you can see in this particular pose, there's more striations in the glutes. In 2020, comparing 2021, you don't see that detail in glutes, but he does have it. It's just the way he's posing, or perhaps just when the picture was taken, like I said before. You're not seeing, obviously, that detail. And in 2020, he's a bit more twist. You can see less of his chest and more the back of his arms, like the tricep area. You can even see the back of his lat in this pose. You can see his lower back here. So he's twist a bit more in 2020. If you look at 2021, it's a better way to pose. He looks thicker upstairs. The arms are thicker. The shoulders are thicker. The chest, it looks broader. Legs, for the most part, looks the same in size. But obviously the difference in pose is going to make a difference there. And waist, for the most part, looks copy and paste. Side tricep, one of his better poses as well. Now you can see more detail in the glutes. If you want to compare 2020 versus 2021. 2020, he looks very awkward. His face is very awkward. There's no detail in the glutes here. Iain actually doesn't have any tricep detail itself. Like, the tricep is non-existent. I mean, the tricep is big. He just doesn't have feathering, the carved out horseshoe, the back of the tricep versus the front. Like, you can't really make out the actual muscle separation in the tricep itself. So it's crazy that his side tricep is one of his better poses, but he doesn't even have a detailed tricep. But comparing the two photos, I mean, obviously I think 2021 is gonna be better. Thicker upper body. I appreciate the lower body detail a bit more here as well. The glutes, obviously. Abs midsection for the most part is the same. And obviously, the way that the photo is taken as well, I mean, 2020 is kind of more so of a downwards angle slightly, because you can see that the upper body in the 2021 version is kind of hidden slightly, versus in 2021 you can see the opposite traps. You can see both traps actually. You can see the opposite chest very clear. You can even see the opposite shoulder that is behind him posing for the side tricep. So the way the photo is taken is going to make him look a bit more impressive because more of the upper body is shown. But overall, even if it was a front forward face picture in 2020, I feel that 2021 would have been just better. Now, this isn't a pose, but you can appreciate detail. As you can see, he has more detail in the glutes. They look a bit more hard, more graininess, a bit more vascularity, more detail in the lower back when it comes to showcasing the Christmas tree itself. And his hand positions are almost in the same place as well in both photos. Hamstring wise, looks pretty much the same. Let's move on to the actual back double. And I think Iain has really good potential for a great back. You know, his lats aren't super low, but they're there. A lot of competitors I see, they don't even have the lower lat insertion. I mean, it's just like a flat board. His back has come a long way. It does need quite a ways to go. Now, one thing I know is that his arm position in 2021, he kind of has the elbows a bit lower for whatever reason, versus in 2020, they're just straight. They're textbook when it comes to this particular pose. So I don't know why he has the elbow a little down like that. It kind of throws off the pose a little bit, but not enough to knock him. I appreciate more detail in the glutes, more detail in the hamstrings, and his back overall looks better in 2021. Shoulder mass wise, I mean, they look the same. Arms and the back double looks the same, but I do notice the lower body that does have a bit more conditioning. You can see the glutes in 2020 is smooth, versus 2021. There's a bit more detail there when it comes to the edging out and the striations and everything else. Moving on, back lat spread, his back is thicker. 2021, his back is thicker, more detail with the glutes, like I said. You can tell that just the middle portion of the back where the traps are, it just has more meat on there. Versus him posing in 2020, it almost looks like he just won the USAs, the NPC USAs, man. Like, this is almost like an amateur back. Versus, as you can see in 2021, like, there's more detail there. The lower lats are getting thicker. He looks a bit wider as well. He's posing a bit better too. He definitely looked like he fixed his posing for 2021. He'll say himself, he's not like a great poser, but at least hitting the mandatories perfectly. I mean, that's what every bodybuilder should be able to do, right? But more detail overall in the back. You can even see where the rhomboids are. The outer lats as well. There's more detail over there. Arms here aren't the biggest factor, but I mean, triceps are a tad thicker from the back. You can see a little bit of it. His left tricep there in 2021 has a bit of a peak in comparison to 2020, which he doesn't really have much of that at all. Moving on. Now, this is maybe a bit misleading. He's not really flexing the quads in 2021, versus in 2020, he's flexing the quads. Now, his quads are completely separated in 2020. I mean, look at the detail, look at the feathering, look at just, the striations, the clear separation of that muscle down the thighs, versus in 2021, he doesn't even have his abductors flexed. So I feel like he's in better condition, but he's not doing himself any service by not flexing his quads. So by default, I mean, I do like the 2020 version more. Saying 2020 and 2021 back and forth is so confusing sometimes, but his 2020 looks better here because of his quads being flexed. There's more detail, and chest detail wise looks the same. He doesn't have the best set of abs. They're very shallow. They're not really thick and bulging. I wish he would work on the abs a bit more to really thicken them up and grow a bit more muscle there. He has abs obviously, but they're not like carved out and they're not like protruding. They're just kind of there in his stomach. He does look a bit harder in 2020, although I know he's not better. I guess it's just obviously the lighting here. He's completely flexed versus in 2021. He's kind of smiling and having a great time. Like, I think he knew he won at this point. Like, he doesn't need to go full throttle at this point, man. Like, he's pretty confident that he's going to take the show, and obviously he did. But he should have flexed the quads, man. Like, those quads, it makes a world of difference when it comes to his muscularity. So Anyways, guys, what do you think about Iain Valliere 2020 versus 2021 Tampa Pro? Overall, I feel like the 2021 version kills the 2020 version. Bit thicker overall, more shoulders, back details, bit better. He has more detail in the glutes, so he's definitely more conditioned overall in 2021. And, he just looks a tad bigger. I mean, the arms are a little bigger. The quads for sure has grown a little bit. So I appreciate the added mass and size in 2021. So guys, quick video. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Like, share, comment down below. If you're not subscribed, make it a thing. Sub to the boy. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.